guys, welcome to Fun&gun. Figure this would be a pretty interesting video to make here. We're going to go ahead and compare one of the older style 2011 or double stack 1911 designs to some of the more modern ones and kind of see if it still has a place in today's market, at least in my opinion. And we're going to compare it to some guns that are in the same price range as this gun currently, and that is the Rock Island 2011 double stack, or the 1911 double stack that is. And we're going to go ahead and talk about this gun a little bit and kind of some of the features with it, and then we'll bring some other guns in and compare it to it and kind of get into, do I think this gun still has a place in the market like I mentioned there. So let's go ahead and start off by showing you that this gun is unloaded. Nothing in the magazine. Go ahead and set that magazine off to the side. It does come with two 17-round magazines, and this particular variation of it did come with the 22 TCM barrel and spring. Now, I do not believe you can get this variation, or at least this package anymore, that being the tactical or the ultra version here with this barrel. I believe you have to buy the barrel separate now. There are some variations of the single stack that come with the 22 TCM barrel, but it is the 22 TCM 9R barrel, I believe, which is a little bit different. That particular variation of the round is set up to work in Glock style pistols as well. This is the original 22 TCM, which is what this barrel is chambered for. And from what I understand, this is actually a 38 super case neck down to a 22 cartridge, or 22 bullet that is. And this round is cooking out of this particular gun, coming out at around 1850 to 1950 feet per second out of a pistol. You're getting into 5.7 territory at that point. So pretty wicked round. I guess the only downside to this is it never really just completely took off, and the only company that I know of that loads ammo in this caliber is Armscore, which is Rock Island. But as you can see there, compared to a 9mm, it is a little bit longer. Does not appear to be as big a round as your 9mm, like case-wise that is. But it's pretty cool little round. I'm gonna go ahead and start inserting pictures here of me shooting this round, and you can see it is a flamethrower as well. So definitely a cool round. I'm gonna go ahead and insert a video or a little clip here of me shooting this round just to kind of show it to you a little bit. So as you can see there, definitely cool round. Extremely loud, pushing this little bullet as fast as it's going out of a 22 caliber bullet. That was something I noticed immediately as how loud that round was. But something cool about this variation of the gun that just kind of sets it apart from some of the other 2011s or the double stacks or just any 1911 for that matter. So not really exactly what we're comparing here. We're going to be more talking about it in the 9mm aspect. Just figure I'd cover that because it's there and it's cool. So we're going to look at this as a 9mm, like I said, in the 1911 double stack world here. And something else I found out that was pretty interesting is like I mentioned, these are the factory 17-round magazines. And after seeing this magazine and getting one of my bull magazines out, just as a comparison, because it looked very similar, they are almost identical. This round magazine being just a scooch longer, as you can see there, just a little bit. And that is because this is an 18-round, this is a 17-round magazine. No, wait a minute. I get it right in saying this is an 18-round magazine. This is the 17-round magazine, like I mentioned a second ago. And the cool thing is, if you get one of the new bull magazines, it's actually an 18-round magazine. But as you can see here, fits in the gun just fine. Locks open. And actually, as you'll see here in this clip here of this magazine, it actually functions just fine as well. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that right here. So I figured I'd go ahead and show you that because that is pretty cool. These magazines work. I would say you might want to be careful with them, because with this magazine inserted, there's nothing to prevent it from over inserting and accidentally bending your ejector there. So don't just slap them in, I would say. But it gives you another option for magazines, because bull is the bull magazines are pretty easy to find, and my buddy at one point did have an issue finding more magazines for this gun. So I figured that was pretty cool. I'll go ahead and point that out. That's just something that I have never seen anybody else talk about with this gun. So let's go ahead and get into what makes this a little bit different compared to some of the more modern style guns, and then we'll bring some of them guns in and compare it to this and see if this gun's worth its current price of $949 as its MSRP. So the one thing that really kind of stands out with the Rock Island is it is a full metal framed gun. The frame itself and the grip are one piece and all metal, and you do have a set of G10 grips on here, which actually feel pretty good. So what we're talking about the grip here, one thing I didn't really prefer on this, and something I would probably go ahead and, if this was my gun, I would probably wrap some sandpaper grip tape around the front of this and tuck it under both grip panels, because this little portion right here is sunk down into the frame and doesn't really do a whole lot of nothing in my opinion. So this is basically just almost a big slick patch on the front of the whole gun. So not really the best use of how much space they had up there, just putting these few little lines. Would have liked to have seen some nice stippling or some checkering, that is, on the front strap. But hey, 12-year-old design, what can you ask, or more can you ask for? I guess you could have asked for an updated version with better grip. That would be something to look at there, Rock Island. But a few other things about this gun, I guess, that I noticed while shooting it is, I will say that although the safeties are nice and positive, the edge around this safety definitely doesn't feel good on your thumb when you're flicking the safety on and off on any of the sides. That could have definitely been smoothed out, and that's something they've probably already fixed on the newer guns. This, like I said, this is one of the older versions of the gun. It doesn't even have the adjustable rear sight as the one picture on the website, so kind of something that I did notice right away that is a little bit annoying. The grip safety jiggles side to side. Not really noticeable when you're just shaking the gun. Functions just fine. Something I noticed though, for a $950 gun, would have liked to seen that a little bit tighter. Gun is unloaded. We're going to talk about the trigger a little bit. Trigger is smooth, but the trigger shoe just kind of just jiggles in that a little bit. So there's some take up. It is extremely light take up, just kind of a bit annoying. I would have liked to have seen the travel set properly on the trigger, deal with a lot of that take up, but it is what it is. It does have a nice light trigger break. Not 100% sure what the trigger pull on this is, but if I had to guess, it's somewhere on this particular gun being shot as much as it has, probably somewhere in the 3 to 3.5 pound area. It does have a nice trigger on it, surprisingly. So that is one thing I do like about the gun, other than the jiggle in the trigger. It does have a nice trigger. It's definitely a nice gun. It is well made. It doesn't feel cheap, really, being metal, other than the sharp edges on your safety there. Feels like it's well made. But in my opinion, we're going to go ahead and start bringing in some of the other guns here. We're going to talk about kind of some of the stuff that this gun's lacking in the modern market, in my opinion, especially in its price point, when you can get something such as this TSOS Night Stalker that you've probably seen my video on, and if you're subscribed to the channel here. This particular gun is essentially the exact same price, coming in at $959.99, so you're talking a whopping $10 more. And we'll go ahead and safety check this gun. This gun is unloaded. But overall, I guess the biggest thing you notice right off the bat, this gun being a full metal gun, they weigh almost the same, even though this gun is a 5-inch and this is, I believe, a 4 1/4. So the metal grip and the extra length, this kind of balance each other out. But out of the two, this is when you're starting to get into more features. I will say this gun does have a little bit of sharp edges on the safety, but they're not in the same spot, so you don't really notice them quite as much. But this particular gun, compared to this gun, I'm going to have to go with the TSOS over it. And we're going to bring in another gun that kind of, in my opinion, beats both of these, that I also have a video on. But let's go ahead and talk about a few things that you get with your tit sauce that you don't have the option of getting on the Rock Island without having custom work done to it. I guess the number one thing and the biggest thing for me is your tit sauce is red dot cut. Even if it is cut for the micro dots, which is not my favorite cut, you still have the option of putting a red dot on it, which is cool. This variation of it is threaded. Not going to really call that a knock on the Rock Island, because you could have a threaded barrel put in this, and I guess you could have somebody cut it for a red dot. But the fact that they do make this particular gun without the threaded barrel, not quite as cool looking. Don't have the slide cuts and everything, but it is still red dot cut, the same as this gun, and it actually comes in at $7.99, so it's cheaper than this variation, but these two are in the same price point. But the fact that that is something that you can get on this gun that you can't get on this gun today, kind of a knock on this gun in my book. And then I guess really the two out of the two, or the three now, this is going to be the one that kind of just blows both, these out of the water. More this one than this one, because this half the gun down is essentially the same thing as the tit sauce here. They're made by the same people, but this gun is going to come in at $1,099, so you're going to have to spend a little bit more to get these features. But in my opinion, it's worth saving up the money to get this variation of the gun. Unless you're looking for a threaded barrel, then the tit sauce has got you covered there. But this gun, if you've watched the review on this, this is really, in my opinion, out of all the 2011, 1911 kind of budget guns that I've currently had the chance to shoot, this is my favorite one. Get a little bit better grip texture than you do on the tit sauce on the sides of the grip. I guess my really only complaint with this version of the gun, I do prefer the trigger shoe in the tit sauce. It's a little bit shorter than the one in the M.A.C here. I forgot to mention that this is a M.A.C Defense. It is also unloaded. But really, out of the three here, when you're starting to get into the price point, yeah, it is about $150 more than your Rock Island. But this gun's really the one, in my opinion, that is worth the money, even worth the extra $150 over the Night Stalker. Unless you're looking, like I said, for that threaded barrel. You both have their metal mag, or both have metal mag wells. You do not have a mag well on your Rock Island. Just everything on this, it's fit well. You don't have no jiggle in your grip safety. The triggers on these two guns, you got a little bit of movement. You have to have a little bit of movement, obviously, for it to function, but everything's fit well on these guns. I guess what I'm getting after, and it is red dot cut for a full red dot. Comes with the plate and everything. It is a bushingless bull barrel. So for another $150, I would go with the M.A.C Defense here any day of the week over the over your Rock Island here. Rock Island's not a bad gun. Definitely a cool gun. Got a lot of weight to it, so it doesn't have just a ton of recoil. But in today's market, especially for the price, you're getting to the point where you have a lot more competition for this gun. And I would have to say that Rock Island's probably starting to feel that in their sales, because when you could get you a tit sauce for the same price, well, $10 more, same price is what it is. Better gun in my opinion, yes. You can get a M.A.C Defense for a little bit more. Better gun than both of them, in my opinion, yes. So currently right now, this would be what I would say is the go-to in the kind of the budget 2011 range. It's just a nice gun. If you're interested in either one of these two guns, I do have full reviews on them as well. So that's all I really had for you today. Kind of just figured I would go ahead and talk about one of the classics here and just see how it stacks up to the more modern stuff. Okay, if you made it this far, I just want to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're looking for more Fun and Gun right now, you can click one of the two recommended videos there. If you're looking for more Fun and Gun later, you can go ahead and click that there subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. And if you're finding me from Facebook, go ahead and click that open app button at the top to make all that a lot easier, and I'll see you next time.